you've been starving to death, your soul is about to be fed. A woman who is responsible for feeding millions of people and millions more to come. Slutty Vegans founder, CEO, and visionary, my sister, Pinky Cole, is in the building.
You always got the best bios for me.
Listen, I try. One of the most difficult things you can do in business is have to deal with family.
Ooh. Wait, this is that kind of podcast?
It was like, that shifted fast.
Shame the devil.
Yes.
Okay.
I want you, a lot of entrepreneurs are watching and listening, and we have this whole idea of family businesses. Do you recommend it when you're starting out?
So I'm going to preface this conversation by saying that everything that I'm going to tell you is based on where I am at in my life presently.
Yes.
So the answer is no. Okay. And it's a capital N with that no. And I'm going to tell you why.
All right.
So I'm going to take it all the way back. And I love my siblings, by the way, so I want to be clear. But what I realized in our communities, it has always been very difficult to bring family into your space because we all know that our siblings have a sense of entitlement.
Oh, yes.
Right? So when I first started Slutty Vegan, I put all my siblings on. Everybody you get a job, you get a job. I felt like Oprah. I was giving everybody a job.
Right.
But the problem is that they were still looking at baby sister Pinky.
Oh, yes.
Because I'm the youngest. Of 4 and of 8, depending on who's asking, right? But they were looking at baby sister Pinky and not realizing that I'm running a multi-million-dollar operation.
Right.
So no, you cannot borrow money from my business because I have to reinvest it.
Right.
Right. No, you cannot demand more wages when I'm paying you fairly compared to what I'm paying my other employees.
Right.
And no, you're just not about to move about freely because we are running an operation.
Wow.
And I think it actually, for quite some time, it destroyed my relationships with my siblings.
Wow.
For the most part, we're in a good place now, and I'm being totally vulnerable here.
Yeah.
But it's because they didn't know how to separate the two.
Yeah.
What makes a really good entrepreneur is somebody who knows how to turn it on and turn it off.
Yes.
Right? So when you and I are on business, it's work. We're on business, right? You respect my space, I respect your space.
Right.
But we know when it's time to turn it off.
Right.
And when it's time to turn it off, we can kiki, we can laugh, we can roast each other, we can do all of those things. But entrepreneurs, a good entrepreneur can do it very well. And you have to be able to be mindful and gauge it when dealing with family members because it's not always easy. So in the space I'm in this moment.
Right.
Would I continue to have my family members? Absolutely not. What I will do, right, is I will allow them to be contractors. So I'm doing that right now with both of my siblings.
Wow. My sister's a therapist, and she said something I wish I had gotten years ago. She said, no is a sacred word.
Yes.
And the problem with having a heart is it becomes difficult pronouncing it.
Yeah.
That many people, and those of you who are listening, your wealth is connected to what you say no to.
Yeah.
What is the thing?
If you would have told me I was coming to therapy, okay.
Oh, no. We walking through it together.
Different.
No. We're going through it together.
Let me tell you why this is good.
Yes.
This is good because it took me a long time to learn that there was a period after the word no.
Wow.
Oftentimes as entrepreneurs, we say no and then we got to explain why we're saying no.
Yes.
You ain't got to explain nothing to nobody.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And it took me a long time to learn that because I have always been the person that I have naturally let people take advantage of me. Because I always felt that God was testing me. If people ask me for money and come back again, I always felt like that was God saying like, all right, if you don't help this person, and I'm being totally transparent.
Yes.
If you don't help this person, then I'm going to take your blessings away. But then I had to realize that God don't operate like that, right? And it's okay to protect yourself from people taking advantage of you. So now the Pinky today is not the Pinky that you would have met almost 6 years ago. Now, no is a complete sentence, and that is that, period, point blank.
Wow. I remember my sister and I were home from college. She went to Duke undergrad. I was at Morehouse. We were home for a holiday, spring break or something. My mother sat us down and said, Tama, you are a natural giver. Mm-hmm. Make sure you don't fall in love with a taker. Mm-hmm. Because takers have no boundaries.
At all.
Listen to me, and you will really pull yourself to the cliff and jump without a parachute, and they'll wave as you going as it is that you are going down.
Yes.
What is the thing that you will impart into your children before they leave for school. Because they're living in an alternative universe than what you were raised in.
Yeah.
What it is that they're going to have to contend with in their friendships and in their relationships. What is it that you would say to them as a mother? I know right now they ain't getting ready to go to college. We trying to send them to kindergarten.
Okay,
yeah.
Right. I would tell them that humility is always the priority, right? That's the first thing. But I also need them to know that you are in a position in your life because of how hard your parents work.
Yes.
So you will walk into a certain level of privilege, which everybody doesn't have that opportunity, right? Don't abuse the privilege.
Yeah.
And with that privilege, you be a giver, right?
Yeah.
But also don't let people take advantage of you. And I think that is very important.
Because the culture is so transfixed on reality television and social media, as an alumnus of one and a master of the other, what is the caution you would say to people in terms of how do I share my life on social media?
On social media?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. Yes.
That is it depends on who you want to be.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Who do you want to be to the world? When you show up in the world, how do you want people to recognize you? Right? There's some people that their gift requires them to be an open book and you know everything that they do, which makes them become talent if that's the world that they want to play in.
Yes.
And then there's a world in which everything ain't for everybody and you keep some secrecy. And as an entrepreneur, you monetize on that secrecy if we're talking about entrepreneurship, right?
Yes.
And you find ways to find that funnel to be able to give to your audience what they need at the moments that they need them. So for me, for example, I don't share my life on social media.
Yeah.
I share wins, right?
Wow.
Everything I do, I share wins. Here and there, you'll see the vulnerable moments. But when you come to my page, I want you to feel motivated. I want you to feel empowered.
Yeah.
I want you to feel like you can run into a daggone brick wall.
Right.
Because if Pinky could do it, and she's from East Baltimore, from around the way, and she got a broken accent, and like she is who she is, and she is herself. If she can do it, then why can't I? So my page is different from, say, your page. When they come to you, they need God, right? They literally need God in real time.
Right.
So you are going to feed them with the spiritual food that they need. So I'll give you a real-time example as an entrepreneur. There's a lot of people that want to work for me, work with me, do business with me. And the reason how I was able to get where I am in my life and in career is because I was willing to take the backseat a lot of times, and I was willing to sacrifice a lot of times. So typically, if I was charging $1,000 to do something, I'll do it for free. Just promote me on your social media page.
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying? I'm not going to charge you. Just refer me to 2 people that you know. So guess what that does? When people who are in position of power or who have money by virtue, right?
Yes.
Then they'll look at the person, because guess what? People are always leaning on us.
That's
How many calls you get for money?
Listen,
how many calls you get for things?
My phone is off right now.
Okay? You understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
so when you encounter somebody that don't want nothing from you, and
look at them different.
You look at them totally different.
Yes.
And I believe that is the cheat code when you're talking about entrepreneurship and business.
2 most trending names in 2024 are Jess Hilarious, Pinky Cole, both from Baltimore.
Oh, we are.
Yeah, both from Baltimore, and you all have swallowed the air out of the news space. Coming from the same place, what do you see while you all are in completely 2 different lanes? What do you all think? Do you think is the commonality for both of your success?
Like if you can make it in Philly and you can make it in Brooklyn and you're from Baltimore, it's the same place.
Yes.
And I think we have that level of swag. Yes. Most people from Baltimore are not shy. Right? We are very vocal in our approach to handling business. Yes. One thing about me, and I got this from growing up in Baltimore, I'm the ultimate negotiator. Yes. I don't take no for an answer. Right? Like if you tell me one thing, I want to figure out a way to find a better solution to it. Wow. And I noticed that about Jess Hilarious as well. And then we are swift on our feet. Yeah. Which is why you're a pastor. Right. You know what I'm saying? we swift on our feet. And that swiftness allows us the ability to be able to connect people, right? Yeah. People love you because of how you can translate the word of God.
Right. I've seen you interface with billionaires, literal ones, not social media ones, real ones as documented by Forbes and Fortune. And I wanted to raise something as a girl dad that really makes me proud, that you probably haven't been asked, is in those billionaires spaces and circles, you've not changed your hair.
No.
And there's been a whole lot of controversy. Kids are being thrown out of school in Texas, in Florida, and Alabama, saying you got to get rid of that. You got to change it a different way. Tell me how you bring your authentic self, because for those of you from outside communities, a Black woman's hair is important. It's critical. Okay. That's the crown. Tell me how you felt the confidence to go into a billionaire's home with burgundy dreads.
Because I'm a billionaire too. It's the truth.
Yes.
The only thing, we're both billionaires. The only thing that makes us different is you got the physical money in the bank right now and I don't.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
You understand? So like that is my approach every time I engage somebody that might have a little bit more money than me, right? Currency is just paper here, right? Like if you want to really get deep, like it really don't mean anything. It's the relationships and the resources that allow you to take things to the next level, that give you more currency that you need. So when I walk into these rooms, I break the ice immediately. I'm hugging everybody. Right?
No, I love it.
Because a handshake keeps it too professional, stuffy. And when you think about a billionaire, right? By virtue, most billionaires, like they're very like, you don't really meet too many billionaires. It's like, what's going on? How you doing?
Right.
So if I can break the ice when I walk into you, like now you feel safe.
Yeah.
I've created a safe environment for the both of us.
I hope y'all are writing this down. This is so incredible. Hug me when you see me.
Okay.
You want to be with a billionaire.
Hug me.
That's amazing.
Hug me when you see me. Billionaires expect people to bow down to their feet, right? All the people that are around them are yes men. All the people that are around them will do whatever it is that they say. And they're more than likely afraid because they've never been in the atmosphere or aroma of somebody with that kind of bank account. Right? But when you encounter a Pinky Cole, when I walk Hayes, hello, let me put some respect on my own name. Okay. When you encounter a Pinky Cole Hayes, I walk in the room and I reset the tone. So you have no choice but to respect me. I'm going to make you laugh. I'm going to make you feel comfortable, and I'm going to make you feel good. And like, I'm a big talker anyway. So when I walk in the room, they can't even believe that like this girl's so comfortable to talking to somebody that has a high net worth like this. And then because they're not used to talking to and engaging to somebody like me in that way, it makes them interested in wanting to learn more about me. And that is how I'm able to build all these relationships. Like, I don't just take pictures with people. I have real relationships with these billionaires, real relationships, authentic relationships. I can pick up the phone and call these people all of the time. And then my second approach is I never ask for anything. Because when you get around these people who got a lot of cash, a lot of money, a lot of notoriety, the first thing that everybody wants to do is, here's my pitch, here's my plan. No, build a relationship first.
Listen,
shoot your shot.
People know the Wikipedia you. They know your work. They know that you're a wife. They know that you're a full-time mom. What people don't know, how do you decompress? How do you unplug? How do you relax? Or do you?
I don't. I said I'm being real.
Yes.
I don't. And I really don't now. And if I'm being totally transparent, I made some major changes in my business. So I wasn't running my company day to day for the last almost 2 years, right? I was the mascot for the brand. You know what I mean? When I say that, like all the interviews, I'm doing 2-3 interviews a day. So like I am the voice of reason for the brand. The reason why you see all the marketing and advertising is because of me, right? But I employed other people to run the business day to day. So in the midst of doing that, plus having kids, plus getting married, right? Like I'm Jamaican. Okay, thank you. So I'm Jamaican, literally and figuratively. First of all, you got to figure out what your plan is. And you don't have to necessarily have like a whole 5-page document of what that plan is going to be. You got to be able to have a plan. What is your plan of action? And when you come down here with that plan, you got to be willing to work for free.
Wow.
A lot of people don't talk about that in my life and in career is because I was willing to take the backseat a lot of times and I was willing to sacrifice a lot of times. So typically if I was charging $1,000 to do something, I'll do it for free. Just promote me on your social media page.
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying? I'm not going to charge you. Just refer me to 2 people that you know. So guess what that does? When people who are in position of power or who have money by virtue, right? Then they'll look at the person because guess what? People are always leaning on us.
That's
How many calls you get for money? How many calls you get for things?
My phone is off right now.
Okay? You understand what I'm saying? So when you encounter somebody that don't want nothing from you.
You
and
look
willing
at them
to,
different.
You look at them totally different.
Yes.
And I believe that that is the cheat code. My advice to every single entrepreneur that is watching this program, and I'll tell you why I'm getting to this. I had to let one of my employees go, upper level management,
Yeah, me
right?
too.
Yeah. And that was very difficult to do.
Not so much for me.
It wasn't because he wasn't a bad worker.
This one was.
So he wasn't so much a bad worker, but I just couldn't justify. Right.
Wow.
Right. So the reality of it is I had to make some changes. You know, the economy is shifting. So like the biggest businesses that we patronize literally laid off 30% of their staff.
Wow.
So this is no different from what Slutty Vegan had to do.
Right.
So one of those cuts, I had to let this person go. And I was willing to meet in the middle. Long story short, the person came back to me and said, you know, I got to tell you something. If it was me and I got $25 million to grow a company, I would have never took my hand off the wheel. Shot me like a thorn in my chest.
Wow.
And I'm going to tell you why it shot me, because then I started to have self-guilt. I started to feel angry at myself for like, damn, should I waited to have kids? Should I have waited to have kids? Should I have waited to get married?
Right.
Like, these are normal things that a woman in her mid to upper 30s should want to do. This is what we aspire to be. We build a successful company. Now it's time to have a family. So I thought that I was doing the things in that order. Yeah. Right. So for somebody to say that to me was really, really difficult, but I needed to hear it. And I needed to hear it because what it did is it put a whole new battery on my back. Right. Sometimes you got to skim the fat. Right. So that you can really get that spinach like Popeye to really do the things it is that you know that are inside of you. We all know that nobody can run our business like we can. Right. Yeah. And I'm not saying go back in your business and like start flipping burgers and fries. But what I'm saying is start to touch the areas that you once upon a time let go of, right? Just so that you can have your eye on it. So I don't need to decompress. This is what I love to do. And when you're walking in your purpose, you ain't got to turn your purpose off, right? Your purpose just continues to reactivate. So do I turn it off? Absolutely not. But the beautiful thing is that I'm able to be married to a man that's in the same career field that I'm in. So I really ain't got to turn it off now. Because we laying in the bed, talking about cost of goods. We talking about insurance, sales, how much you made today, like what your business do. Like, and I can compare those things, right? So we connect on numbers. Like that's our love language, numbers. We're connecting by way of numbers. So no, I don't have to cut it off, especially now more than ever, because I'm all the way locked back in my business.
Black women, single black women in Atlanta are the number one homeowners. How difficult is it for you to have friendships?
I don't have many friends.
Wow.
I have more Instagram friends than I do real life friends.
You're right.
Seriously.
Yeah.
There are people that message me good morning every single day on Instagram.
No way.
I'm sure that you got some of them people that you know that they go to every event.
Oh yes.
They support you in everything.
Yes.
They comment on every post.
Yes.
Those are my friends.
Wow.
Those are my friends.
Yeah.
I have two best friends, obviously, but outside of them two, like if you ain't family or my husband, my friends are on Instagram. That some of them I probably never even met in person. Yeah. But there's all different type of definitions for friends, right? Like I have one particular friend who it's almost like she always knows. She's a prophet. And if I'm feeling down, whatever I'm feeling down about something, it's like she feel my spirit and she send me a message like, hey, you need to sit on whatever you're thinking about. Find discernment, let that person go, release what it is. So that's my friend.
That I disagree that Proverbs says that a wealthy person has more friends. And I said that ain't true.
No, it's not.
You really find your friends in poverty.
Yeah.
You don't find your friends in wealth.
Yeah.
What is it about the impoverished Pinky that makes the wealthy Pinky?
There was never an impoverished Pinky. That is what makes the wealthy Pinky. I'm going to tell you why, because I've always been rich in spirit.
Yes. You
understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Even when I was broke, nobody would ever know because I'm always rich in spirit.
Yes.
I've always been, confidence is money.
Yes.
Confidence is currency. So who I was when I was poor is who I am now that I am wealthy.
Yes.
So that's part of the reason why I've been able to build such a cult following, because my energy ain't never changed. My attitude ain't never changed. I never move like I'm better than anybody. Like I still I drove here by myself today.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In those humble beginnings, I watched how hard my mother worked.
Yes.
I watched her work multiple jobs to take care of the family while my father was doing 22 years in prison. So my mother always made sure that the bills are paid. Don't spend that money. So like the curse of my mother is in the back of my head.
Yes.
But on the flip side, it's a benefit to me. So I've always been rich in spirit. So I never had to shift because this is who I am. And what you see is always what you're going to get.
What would retirement look like for you?
You know, it's funny. You're asking all the good questions. It's funny that you said that because every time I meet an elderly person, I travel a lot, right? So I typically see a lot of older people like transporting the wheelchairs, or if you go to the grocery store, there's a lot of older people. And every time I always ask them, I'm like, so how long you been working here? What do you do? 95% of all of them say that they retired and they got what? They got bored.
Yeah.
And they needed something to do.
Right.
And they wanted to go back to work.
Yeah.
So when we think about later down the line, past the virtue of thought, I don't think that I'll ever stop. I'll shift my skill set. So here I am today doing Slutty Vegan. And when Slutty Vegan realizes itself and I decide to move on to other things, it's going to be something that's just as valuable as Slutty Vegan. And then beyond that, I'll tap more into my philanthropic work. And then beyond that, I might become a momager to my kids.
Right. I was with you just a couple of weeks ago for American Sesh.
Yes.
Which is absolutely amazing.
You can talk about it.
Oh, yes. Okay. Tell them about what that is.
So American Sesh is really church for entrepreneurs. That's really what it is. If I could describe it in one sentence, I bring together creative executives, celebrities, regular people, and people who are trying to figure it out. And I put everybody in this room. And all we do is collaborate. We collaborate on innovative ideas, and there is no phone in the building, no phones in the building. There is no ego in the building.
Yes.
All it is just a pen and pad and your thoughts. And the reason why I created it is because I was in Turks and Caicos with Derek, my husband, and we were on the balcony. And since this is a spiritual program, we were on the balcony and came up with this idea called Sesh. And Sesh is short for session. Right?
Yes.
And we came up with the idea Sesh because there is not a safe space for people to speak without judgment.
It's not just ideas, it's strategies.
Yes.
And plans, because a whole lot of people got ideas, but don't know how to get to that next step. And
now
so what I was
truth.
excited about, it wasn't just bouncing off the ideas, but what is that next step? Because we've got so many creatives, so many innovators, and they don't know how it is to move that needle, how to kick the ball down the field. And so to bring that panel of experts and success stories to give the strategy, I think was worth the price of admission.
Thank you. And then on top of that, we provide opportunities for people who need them most. So you've been to the Sesh, so you know, like we identify people who are at the brink of eviction, who need money, their business is about to close, and everybody in the room comes together and pour into that person. So when I say entrepreneurship, church and entrepreneurship going together, this is a space where you can come and really get the wisdom, the knowledge, the spiritual connectivity that you need.
As a trailblazer, you're the first Black woman I know to walk into this space of national franchising. How do you find a role model when nobody's done it?
Chat GPT. No, I'm serious. I'm a researcher.
Yeah.
I came up with Slutty Vegan just by Googling and going to YouTube, right? Do I have people that I respect in the space? Absolutely. There are tons of people. But a lot of this is trial and error in this space, especially when you're talking about the vegan space. There's not a lot of vegan concepts that are at scale. And the ones that are existing are not doing that well, right? The ones that I know of specifically, right? So I have, it's a lot of pressure, but I have a ripe opportunity to be the first to do it at this magnitude. The market is up and down, so you don't know what the future holds. I mean, if you're talking about meat, like you can look at statistics and analytics and you can come up with decisions based on that. But if you are paving your own lane for the very first time, like you really are the metric. So
Yeah.
like you got to do as you go. And it's very difficult. It's nerve-wracking sometimes, but it's worth it, because guess what? At the end of the day, I'll be able to tell the story, and somebody will be able to look at my testimony and say, okay, let me do what Pinky did, or let me do something differently from what Pinky did, so that the outcome can look a little bit different.
How do you alone work through false perceptions? People don't really know who you are, assume things about you, not even based off of an action. But you pay a penalty for being successful.
Yeah.
How do you work through it? Oh, she's arrogant. Oh, she thinks that she's better. Oh, she just done forgot where. How do you, in your own private time, how do you process? But that ain't me.
You know, it's interesting because that has never been my narrative. What has been the narrative that has evolved is that Pinky don't pay her employees.
Wow.
So it never been, because I never been arrogant.
Yes.
Everybody know me. I'm always the same.
Yes.
So I never heard people say that.
Yes.
But I got sued before. My lawyers hate when I talk about this, but I don't care. I talk about it anyway, because I'm a real entrepreneur going through real things.
Right.
And I'll never forget it. Let me tell you, I was watching a Golden